Hey guys, I'm Lillian, aka Stitching Me on Instagram and here on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I hope you find something of interest. Today is the 5th of November 2022 and I am back with a new video. Now, most of you know that I am going to start a new project, which is a Heaven and Earth Designs mini reading time by Randal Spangler. I will insert what it's going to look like when it's finished here. And surrounding that new start, I am going to record two videos. First of all, in this video, I am going to explain to you what my preparations are for a new start. And I am going to try to explain my method that I'm going to use for this project. Then in the next video, that's going to be a stitch with me in which I start the project and stitch the first few stitches. So let's dive right in. First of all, the fabric. This is a 28 count easy count fabric from Zwikart. I ordered like a meter and then I don't know what width. But there is some left over. This is like the piece that I cut this piece off of. And in order to make sure that I cut it correctly, let me try and explain to you what I did. So I've got these pins. First, okay, so the project is square. I know this doesn't look quite square, although you can see the whole thing. But I promise the project itself is square. What I did is I took the amount of stitches, 325. I divided that by 28, since it is a 28 count. And then multiplied that by 2.54 to get centimeters, because my tape measure is in centimeters. That came around to be about about 30 centimeters, so there. And I roughly placed that in the middle of the fabric. Then I put a pin in there. And I started counting just to make sure this fabric is true to the 28 count it is set to be. So I counted 10 blocks, and every 10 blocks I put in another pin, so that's 100 stitches. So by the third pin I needed another 25 and I put a final pin in there as well. So that's the width of my project. Now the sides are a little wider than I need them to be. The margins on the left and the right side, but that's okay. And then I started from the top, working my way down. So I took the amount of margin that I needed or wanted on the top, which is about 10 centimeters or 4 inches. And I put in a pin there, did the same thing, counting down to here. Then took another margin of like 10 centimeters or 4 inches and cut it along that line. And I did cut it like extremely straight, which is very satisfying to me. So now all I have to do is like take all of these pins out. I will mark the upper left corner just to make sure. And then I am ready to start. But I left the pins in because I wanted to show you and explain this to you. So that's the fabric. Next up is my thread. Now the flosses called for most Heaven and Earth designs are all DMCs. So I have a master set of DMCs. This is not complete yet. There is some empty space, but it has most of the colors. It is double-sided, as you can see. And what I do is I go through this and the list of DMCs for the project that I want to start. And then whatever is missing, I will order and bobbinate it. And my bobbinating is really extremely neat. I don't just throw it on there. I do go back and forth like directly next to the go around before, if you know what I mean. Then I will work from this and take whatever I need. I will cut off a length and then take one of the strands out, and whatever is left I will just wind in the other direction on the same bobbin. So it's ready for me to use next time. Okay, that was simple to explain. Now, let's see if I can get you in a little bit closer. Yeah, let me pause the video for this. Alrighty, okay, so that was all of the preparation work for the project. Now, let me try and explain my method to you. So for those of you who are new, I like all kinds of different projects. I use a different project or a different method for every project. And for some reason, my brain also likes complicated. Not in other parts of life, just to be clear, but only within cross stitch and for this stuff. This is what my brain likes for some reason. Okay, so I am going to attempt to show this to you. First off, okay, this part is easy. This is simple. We've got a page. Imagine this is a page. Every block is a block on the fabric. So one of these blocks, 100 stitches. I am going to randomize which block we are going to be stitching. So first off is 11. So we stitch 11. Next off is 1, and after that 12. So we stitch 1 and 12. And just one more, just to be clear, 5, and so on and so on. That's easy, right? Now, what we have here, this is a hypothetical project with 6 pages and again 15 blocks within every page. So we are going to start this project same as we did before. Randomize the block. So 2. I'm going to stop randomizing now and just making it up for the sake of this video. And we will do another block like right there. So now we have 2 blocks done. But now we are not going to continue in here, because for every 2 blocks in a certain page, we get to do another block or 1 block in the next page. So now that we have 2 done in this page, we get to do 1 in the next, in page 2. Now there's only 1 block in page 2, so we don't get to do a block in page 3. So we go back to page 1. Do another 2 blocks. Now we get to do 1 more in page 2. And now that there are 2 blocks done in page 2, we get to do 1 in page 3. And so on and so on. Go back to page 1, 2 blocks, do 1 in page 2. That's not another even number in page 2, so we go back to page 1, do another 2 blocks. We get to do 1 more block in page 2, which means 1 more block, now that there's an even number on there, in page 3. And since there's 2 in here, 1 in page 4. And so on and so on. Whilst still randomizing within the page which block we are going to do. And that just keeps on going and going and going and going, if you will. Okay, so that was slightly more complicated. I hope that's kind of clear. Now, the last little thing that I want to explain to you is feathering, because if I were to do the blocks, stitch the blocks with the clean edges, the exactly 100 stitches per block, that would be really satisfying, but I am pretty afraid that that will cause tension lines once the blocks around this block are filled in as well. So what I'm going to do, see here a block. This is not a page. Every square in here is a stitch, not a block, just to be clear. So this is 100 stitches, the black line. The yellow margin is the margin within I am going to feather, which means that the white within the block is what is certainly going to be stitched of the block that is called, and the white around the margin is what is certainly not going to be stitched when this block is called. Now within this margin, let me try and give you an example. Let's say there's a color, which symbol is a dot. There are a few in here, and let's say also one right outside the block. But there is nothing outside of the margin of this color. Or let's say not within that block beside it, if you will. Then when I stitch on this color, I will also do this stitch, complete it. Let's say there's another color for which a symbol is a square. And let me think for a second. Yeah, so this square has a few stitches outside of this block, and it has one within the block, but on the margin. And nothing of that symbol within this white square. I am not going to stitch this stitch now, I am going to stitch it when I am working on the block above. So that's another example, and that's just how I'm going to try and feather. Now say there is, this is all just 310 that I'm working in, or all about one color. That would mean there's no reason to feather according to the method that I explained earlier. But I do still want to feather because of tension reasons. So in that case, it will just be like on the margin, inside the margin, on the margin, outside the margin, on the margin, inside the margin, something like that. So there's still some feathering. Now this is not really strict. This is just something that I made up to make sure that there is no tension lines. What may happen is that there's like 3 stitches inside here and then 4 stitches on the outside here. But I will try and feather it so there is multiple scenarios of like options here, if you will. That it's, as long as this prevents tension lines, it's all good. All right, I hope that was all clear. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Comment down below and I will try my best to answer it. If there is a question that multiple people ask or something else, I will try and also show you again or try and explain again in another video. But I will at least answer your question in the comments. Okay, so thank you for watching. This was the first of the 2 new start videos. Next one, like I said, is going to be Stitch With Me, where I start the project. I don't know yet when I'm going to upload that, but you will see it coming. It might be after you've seen the new start in my update, but nevertheless, I will show it to you. Okay, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Happy stitching. Bye guys.